Hi, my name is Elizabeth. Welcome to my channel. It has been a very strange week here. I woke up one morning to 19 degrees. It's a mid-October and we still haven't had any frost. It is fall. Oh, the leaves are absolutely gorgeous. I only have one tree on my property and I'm not getting very many leaves, and as a gardener that's a little bit worrisome. I was kind of hoping I would have enough leaves for mulch next year. What I do have is 4 really big pine trees. I was beginning to really worry because what was I going to do for mulch? And I was looking at having to pay for it. I had investigated purchasing some straw or some hay, but I really didn't like that idea. And the other day when I was walking past one of my windows, I noticed outside there were pine needles all over my lawn, and I remembered a Gardener Scott video that I watched where he talked about using pine needles. So I went back to his blog and came across something even better. You can bag those pine needles and store them in the garage for next summer. Well, free mulch. So I went out and I raked up pine needles. I've got 4 bags in the garage right now, and I'm hoping that it dries up long enough to get another couple. I did rake more pine needles, but if I thought they were even a little bit wet, I used those to spread them out around the raised beds. I want to suppress the grass around the bed because it's difficult mowing, especially on the riding lawnmower. On one of the many rainy days that we had, I decided I would puree some pumpkin. I really love pumpkin soup and I want to make some in a little while. Not right now. I don't have time, but I would like to get the pumpkins processed. I only got a couple and it's really, really easy to do. You just cut the pumpkins in half, scoop out the seeds, and put them upside down or right side up if you want on a parchment-lined baking pan, and put them in a 400-degree preheated oven for anywhere from 45 minutes to half an hour until they're pork tender. I let them cool until I could touch them and then just scooped out the flesh. I started to puree the pumpkin in my high-speed blender. I put the flesh from 2 halves of a pumpkin in there and realized that there was just too much water going in for my liking. For the second 2 halves, I used my food processor, and I highly recommend processing pumpkin or even squash that way. The blender was just really difficult to use. Not only did I need to add water, but when it came to getting all the puree out of the high-speed blender, I just couldn't get it out. It came out of the food processor so much easier. On one of the days that it didn't rain, I was able to get outside and do the final mortar on the back wall of the garage. Now it did rain that night, and I covered everything up. It's not drying as fast as it would because the temperatures are lower, and it's taking me a couple of days to just be sure, especially since I have to fill in the hole out on the outside. I wanted to make sure that it was good and dry before I did that. So that job is now finished, although as you can see from this shot here, I did discover there's leakage a little further along, but that is not the section that I want to rent out. Right now I'm only going to rent out one part of that garage because I do know that the chimney leaks, and I do know that there is one hole on that second half of the roof. And although I've never seen water coming in there, I really don't want to risk having somebody else's property in there and water drip on it. So for now, I'm only renting out one portion of that whole garage, one parking space. So there are a couple little minor things that I still have to finish up, and then I'm going to be ready to rent out that space. Despite the rain, I did manage to get a lot done. The garage is really close to being ready to rent out. I've only got a few jobs left. And I'm really looking forward to that pumpkin soup. I'll probably make it in a couple weeks. And I got a lot of the pine needles raked up. There's still more, and I can work on it here and there as the weather permits. But I've got enough in the garage for next year for sure. Well, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.